It's the Battle of the Bell in Harrison City, Pennsylvania, as the 2-4 Gateway Gators make the short trip up Route 130 to take on the 5-1 Penn Trafford Warriors. We wish you a pleasant good evening. Adam Gusky and Vince Russo on the call for you this evening. And Vince, as we take a look at this football game, two teams going in different directions. Last week, a victory for Penn Trafford over Plum. Meanwhile, the Gators had a come-from-behind almost win turn into a loss against Armstrong in Monroeville.
Third straight week, the Gators played with fire, a barn burner. This time they came out on the wrong side of it, tackling a big issue down the stretch for the Gators defensively. They just weren't able to hold up against that rushing attack of Kookness and Oliver from Armstrong. They were able to sprinkle in pass as well, but late in the game it was that rushing attack that really did it in for the Gators.
And while obviously that's one of the negatives, one of the positives has to be the fact that the Gators were able to overcome an 11-point halftime deficit to take the lead to 11 before ultimately losing that football game.
And they've showed resilience through their conference slate, coming from behind late in the game to beat Franklin Regional the week before, hanging on late against Cascaria with two big defensive stops. So it's a team that's capable, but they're going to face a different caliber of opponent and a different program tonight. This is a program we talked about off the air where there's a real identity around playing football at Penn Trafford, and these are guys that are going to bring it for 48 minutes, very physical. They hang their hat on that, and the Gators have to clean up that tackling on defense if they want a chance to move to 3-1 and to win the Battle of the Bell tonight.
And it's the lone loss of the season for the Penn Trafford Warriors coming on the road at Woodland Hills. It was a big victory for the Wolverines, but they're clearly the class of the Big East Conference, so other than that, blemishless are the Penn Trafford Warriors.
Yes, and that is a really interesting game to watch because that's by far and away the most athletic team that they've faced all season. And the Gators, as we've seen here in the early season, they've gotten healthy, at least at the skill positions. We know there's some injuries along the line. But if Mason Mitchell can have some time here now in game number 4, continuing to grow, mature, certainly looking the part of a starting quarterback in 5A, they've got all that speed on the outside. Could it be a replay of what we saw against Franklin Regional where those deep passing plays were there the whole time? We'll see.
Injuries have been absolutely devastating for the Gateway Gators. They continue to have to dive deeper and deeper into their depth chart, and nothing different tonight.
No, a couple linemen out. Craig Schultz, a big name that they're not going to have available tonight. And beyond just his talent physically, that leadership of an upperclassman. This is a Gateway Gators team that is still sort of in year 2 of a rebuild, of having some really young skill position players play at a lot of key positions across the roster. And so having just another senior out, having to call up another underclassman to step in, that's going to be tough for the Gators, and how they're going to have to navigate that against a team in Penn Trafford that has some upperclassmen.
And of course, Schultz plays both ways, and while he has his number 1 backup playing tonight on the offensive side, on the defensive side, they will be without him. So, even more shallow are the Gators on the defensive front.
Yeah, and that proved to be costly late in that game last week, and we'll see what were they able to do between last Friday night and coming into tonight to get this team ready to where they feel comfortable to go against a Penn Trafford team that's going to run the ball at you from the jump, and if you can't stop it, they're just going to keep coming at you.
And Penn Trafford, a very, very well-coached football team. Of course, John Ruane has been the coach at Penn Trafford for quite some time, and he has brought a couple of head coaches onto his staff this season. An assistant from Penn Trafford went to Latrobe, became their head coach, and now is back on the staff here at Penn Trafford. And former Woodland Hills head coach Tim Bostard now on the staff here at Penn Trafford. So, just so many experienced coaches on this Penn Trafford staff. And those two gentlemen I mentioned go along with so many long-tenured coaches on Ruane's staff.
Ruane, his success speaks for itself. 135 wins, just 45 losses since he took over the helm in 2010. Certainly that big year in 2021 which they won both the region, the WPIAL, and the state title, the PIAA. An incredible game down at Acrisure Stadium against the Moon Tigers. That was an unbelievable game.
T. Cole back to return for the Gators for the first time in a long time. He's flanked on the left side by Nazir Diggs, as Penn Trafford will kick off to begin this football game. Evan Sadler kicks off, and we are underway in Harrison City, PA. A bouncer that'll take it all the way down to T. Cole at the 11 to the near sideline. crossing the 30, spinning to the 31. There's a flag down back behind the play. So the Gators going to be pushed back here, even though it looked like they were going to have decent field position.
Now we see an opportunity for the Gators here. We talked about off the air, what's the one way against a team that loves to run the ball to get them uncomfortable and to dictate pace? It's getting on the board first, scoring points, getting ahead and forcing teams to abandon that strength of running the ball, using the clock. So the Gators get that first opportunity here with the ball first. But boy, looking like it's going to be at the 12-yard line. That's going to be a long road to hoe for this offense.
And again, the Gators took the ball out to approximately the 31. The flag came down at the 22, 10 yards back from that, and it's back to the 12. Gators come out in the shotgun. Freshman QB Mason Mitchell. He'll hand it off. Ball carrier Julian Dancier dances for a gain of about 2 before he is brought down.
Dancier took a real big step forward last week, and you look, he bobbles the ball there. Not a very clean handoff there on the option. Mitchell waited till the last minute, and that was nearly a fumble. Good concentration there by Dancier, who had a fumble last week, but other than that, a really big game in a loss against Armstrong.
This time Mitchell pulls it out of the belly of Dancier, scrambles to the right, but he is caught from behind by Ben Grabowski. And that'll push the Gators back inside the 10 to the 8. A loss of 6 on that play.
Grabowski, a player that Penn Trafford was without for much of last season, who is such a difference maker. You'll hear a lot of the chatter for him is on the offensive side of the ball as a freshman, rushed for nearly 800 yards. Missed most of last season with injury, now back in the lineup for Penn Trafford.
Mitchell looks right, throws right, screen pass, Carter. Takes it out to the 15, bounces off of some tacklers to the near sideline, but he'll be tossed to the boundary again. The tackle, Luca Butler, and the punt unit has to come on for the Gators on 4th and 8.
That penalty on special teams proves to be so costly now. Gators going to have to punt this ball away with their punter having toes essentially inside the 1, almost on the goal line there. So Penn Trafford set up, likely going to have really great field position for their offensive possession.
So Mikulandrich will punt for the Gators. His Gateway is short a player here on the punt unit. And Carter will run on late. Play clock is down to 3 here. Snap is off as Mikulandrich takes the snap. High hanging kick. Takes a bounce in favor of the Gators, and it will continue to roll into Warriors territory and die down at around the 47-yard line. Roll to be first down and 10 for the Warriors. And we saw Mikulandrich in goal last night for the Gateway soccer team, punting balls just like that.
Well, he did quite a great job, especially getting that fortuitous bounce. A nice punt there to at least get the ball into Warriors territory. The only bad part about seeing Mikulandrich on the field is that's not Jackson Smith, which means that the Gators are going to be without him again tonight. And it is so hard to overstate the difference maker he is on the defensive side of the ball for the Gators.
I mean, he has been a stud up the middle on that defensive side since day one as a freshman. Desmond, the quarterback, runs left, picks up just a yard before he is brought down. And it'll be second down and 9 at the 49, excuse me.
This is what the Warriors are going to want to do here early on. If the Gators can be up to the task, even down a couple of their stud players in Smith and Schultz there on the front 7, they can stem the tide. Be big for the Gators.
Desmond hands off this time, and the Gators are in the backfield, nowhere to go for the tailback, Ben Grabowski. Grabowski will be met at the original line of scrimmage back at the 48. It'll be third down and 10.
Grabowski had 188 yards, 3 touchdowns in an early season close win over the Norwin Knights, who have taken a step forward as a program, a team that had North Allegheny on the ropes last week. And Trafford got a stable of guys. Cody Yakimelli's another one they're going to lean on throughout this game.
Big brother Cade playing running back at Wisconsin after shifting from the defensive side to the offensive side for the Badgers. As the Gators are in the backfield. And a sack for Sena Agbadzi.
Well, we just talked about a couple guys being out on the front seven for the Gators. And what that does mean is opportunity for other guys to step up, make big plays. Agbadzi leading by example. They're fired up along the defensive line, gets the sack, pushes them way, way back. And the Gators, an impressive first series here defensively.
Punt is away for Miller. And this one will hop in favor of the Gators and then be downed by the Warriors. Ball at about the 34-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for Gateway.
Well, each team's gotten a look, seen a little bit of the other. No worse for the wear. Now the Gators get a chance to come out, settle things down a little bit offensively. You're not in the shadow of your own end zone, so you can be a little more aggressive here and feel confident about maybe pushing that ball downfield, which is certainly not something we saw on that first possession where the Gators started from their own 12, ended up at their own 9 before having to punt it away.
Mitchell in an empty set. Trips bunched on the left on the wide side. And the flag's going to fly in for a false start. I don't love that call because there was a player in motion. The only thing I could maybe see there is 2 men in motion because not everybody had been set when the right tackle, Little, moves here. And you can see the right guard puts his hand down. Little resets himself. And like I said, the only thing I can really see in that circumstance is 2 men being in motion at the same time. Dancier now going to motion to an empty set to the left of the formation on first down and 15. Now he'll motion from left to right. Mitchell looks back. Pass complete. S.J. Moorfield picks up 8 on first down, and that makes it second down and 7.
Nice play design. Dancier going in motion is just going to hang out and wait to become an extra blocker here. And a really nice open field snag there. Number 26 for Penn Trafford. Nick Ponko, one of their leading receivers offensively, coming in making a nice stop. That was a play that worked really well for the Gators last week. Just getting that ball quickly into the hands of Moorfield.
Carter motions from right to left and will settle as a wing on the left of the formation. Handoff, Dancier. Gaping hole. First down and more. Into Warriors territory to the 49.
Nate Breisinger and I talked about it on last week's broadcast. Dancier has really emerged as that leading back, and you see why. They hand it off to him, no hesitation, puts his helmet down, finds the hole quickly, accelerates through it, and by the time he was contacted, he already had enough to move the chains. Really nice run.
First and 10 for the Gators. Again, the ball at the Warriors 49. As Gateway checks to the sideline with plenty of time on the play clock. Option to the left. Mitchell is going to keep it himself. He is tattooed after picking up a few. Huge hit there for the Penn Trafford Warriors by Jamison Yurt.
And Yurt, he is the guy for this defense. John Ruane has talked about it all season long, that the linebacking core is the heart and the strength of this defense. And you see right there, took what looked like for a moment was going to be a really nice gain for Mitchell, and just sticks him a few yards after the line of scrimmage to keep that to a minimum.
Yurt has been hurt and is working his way back into the lineup for the Warriors, as this time the Gators go to the ground and nowhere to go for Julian Dancier, as Aiden Corbett is in the backfield to make the tackle back at the midfield stripe, and they'll bring up third down and 11.
Talking a little more about Yurt, he's a 4-year starter at middle linebacker. Had 105 tackles, 41 of them solo last year, a couple forced fumbles. He was an 8th grader when that 2021 team went the distance, won the WPIAL and the state, talked about wanting to leave his own kind of legacy here.
Lots of confusion by the Gators on the offensive side, and Don Hall needs to take a timeout, and that's not the first time this drive that Gateway has been out of sorts.
Got to be ready from the jump, or else you're in a position here where you have to have to use a timeout early. We saw that the lack of timeouts at the end of the game last week with under a minute to go and the Gators having one last gasp trying to win the game. That came back to haunt them a little bit. Those little game management things make such a big difference, especially in a rivalry game where traditionally both of these programs have been well coached in the playoff picture. That's no different this year.
Next week for the Gators, a home game against another traditional rival. The Woodland Hills Wolverines will make the short trip up Monroeville Boulevard from Turtle Creek to Monroeville. And then the Gators on the road at Latrobe before wrapping up the regular season with that super consequential non-classification game against the Hempfield Spartans.
Well, they'll make the argument that with the wild cards, every game means a little bit now. But I hear you.
Yo-yo motion. S.J. Moorfield's going to take a forward pitch to the far sideline and steps out of bounds after a gain of a couple, maybe three. See where the ball's spotted here. Looks like close to the 47. It'll be the 48, so a gain of just 2 brings up 4th down and 9, and the punt unit comes on for the Gators with 5:15 to play here in the first quarter. We're still scoreless.
Gators certainly did some things well. We're able to move the ball into enemy territory, and now you hope to get a nice punt from Michael Andrich and try and force this Penn Trafford offense to go length of the field.
Not a optimal snap as the ball slides out of the hands of the return man, and the Gators have it. Michael Andrich scooped up the punt and was able to get off a nice one. Spiraling punt that hung up there long enough, slides through the hands of the return man, Tyler Boss, and then it is recovered by Khalid Harper.
Boy, you talk about the pendulum swinging there, like you said, Adam. It looked like that play might have been headed for disaster. How often have we seen punters go down to scoop that up, put the knee down, all of a sudden you have Penn Trafford starting in Gators territory. Instead, that punt, kind of fortuitous, was a bit of a warbler, a bit of a knuckleball, couldn't get handled by the return man. Harper, Johnny on the spot, able to jump on that one quickly, and now the Gators with a whole new lease on life here with the ball inside the 25.
Khalid Harper has been making his presence known on special teams for 2 years now as a sophomore. As S.J. Moorfield yo-yos his way out. 3 fakes. Carter, wide open, catches it at the 5 and into the end zone for a gateway touchdown. And that's how you take advantage of a takeaway.
Absolutely beautiful play design there. The Gators have been setting that up on their first 2 possessions. You see not 1, like you said, not 2, but 3 different reads there. A couple fakes, gets it to Carter, wide open.
Michael Andrich on to attempt the PAT, and that one partially blocked by the Warriors. And a point always so valuable in conference play. We'll see how that shakes out as the evening goes on. Thinking back 2 years ago, the last time the Gators won the bell here in Harrison City, I seem to remember there being some issues with, extra points and it coming down to similar situations late in that football game.
Certainly you want every single point. You want to keep as much momentum as possible after the turnover and then the subsequent one-play drive. You want to cap that off, so a little bit of wind out of the sails. Just take another look at that one, just popping loose at the last minute. And Harper, such great awareness to be ready to dive on that one.
Tyler Boss clearly not happy he wasn't able to hang on to that one. So the Gators strike first. 7 minutes and 1 second into the football game, but the PAT blocked. And it's 6-0 as Michael Andrich kicks off. And the return man catches it in the field of play before stepping back into the end zone. Returned out shy of the 20-yard line, so Nico Cachado is brought down, getting out to the 19. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Warriors.
If you're the Gators, it's exactly how you wanted to start this game. Get that early lead. See if you can't get another stop here. Build on that and try and force Penn Trafford away from its bread and butter, which is running that football.
Cody Iacomelli now in at quarterback for Penn Trafford. And we'll see, from what I've heard, as many as 3 different players take snaps for the Warriors. As the Warriors move early, Gators breach the neutral zone, and we're going to have an officials conference here. As I think, Gateway was moving, the Warriors were moving. And they'll iron it out fairly quickly, which I like to see, regardless. And it's a false start against the Warriors. That'll push them back 5, bring up first down and 15, shy of the 15.
We've talked about it. This is a Warriors team that wants to run the football, wants to establish a run early. And most teams going out of the gun makes perfect sense to just sort of line your halfback up every so often in the Wildcat, expedite that process of getting the ball into their hands and letting them go to work.
And you'll see a lot of that with Grabowski when he lines up a QB. Yakimelli, the running quarterback, and you see why there as he carries that one from the 14 out across the 20 to the 22. So a gain of 8 on that play brings up second down and a much more manageable 8, maybe 7.
Good job by Carlos Diggs, able to get him wrapped up into the turf. If he gets past Diggs, I don't know if anyone's catching him at that point. Yakimelli coming off a real big game the last time out. Ran for 115 yards on just 9 carries. Scored 4 touchdowns from 12, 28, 23, and 28 again.
Trips to the left of the formation as Cody Yakimelli takes the snap, takes it over right tackle, picked up a couple, got hit, pushed back initially, but was still able to get another surge across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
This is Penn Trafford football right here. They're just going to keep bringing it. Chipping away, hoping that they can catch you off guard. Just one play, hit that big run, as they so often do.
Third down.
And Wendell Hall for the Gators.
And about 3 here for the Warriors. Yakimelli running right, and he is hit and brought down. S.J. Moorfield knifes through there, makes the tackle right at the line of scrimmage. No gain, brings up 4th down and 3.
Moorfield, so often the guy we're talking about offensively in space, making things happen there, putting the shoulder down, coming from his usual spot in the defensive backfield, coming on a blitz. Great call, pays off, gets the Gators defense off the field. Another punting situation for the Warriors.
Trey Miller out to punt for Penn Trafford, and a false start for the Warriors is going to push them back even further.
That felt rushed for no real particular reason, leading to not all the players being set. So a miscommunication there and giving everyone enough time to get settled, and that'll be another 5 yards, meaning S.J. Moorfield's hanging out right around midfield waiting for this one.
Trey Miller in punt formation. Moorfield Jr. back deep for Gateway.
Miller gets underneath this one, end over end punt into the Warriors sideline. So Gateway's going to take over inside of Warriors territory. Fairly generous spot for Penn Trafford at the 47-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for Gateway.
Table set for the Gators, who last time out, one play drive off the turnover, second straight drive where you're starting in your opponent's territory. They were able to move the ball a little bit before having to punt it from around this spot on the drive before the turnover. It led to that punt that got muffed that gave the Gators the opportunity for that one-play drive and the touchdown. See if they push the ball downfield again here. It's been mostly vertical passing.
Mason Mitchell on the quarterback draw. Tries to go left, and he's met and brought down. Loss of 1. He was driven back by Ben Grabowski, but Mitchell gets his forward progress up to the 48 before being pushed back.
Answering the bell for PK.
Gators going to have to focus on getting north-south a lot more quickly against this linebacking core of Penn Trafford. These guys welcome contact, and they're going to bring it downhill every single play.
Clock winding towards 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Little hitch and a toss, complete. S.J. Moorfield retreats initially and will surge his way back forward to the 39-yard line. A gain of 8 on that play. Make it 9 from the 48 to the 39, and makes it a third and very manageable 1.
You're probably knock it on the doorstep of 4-down territory.
3rd down and 1.
Vince, I talked about a generous spot the Warriors received on the punt. The Gators got one there to the 38. Mitchell checks to the sideline. Plenty of time on the play clock as it's down to just 10 here. Handoff, Dan Sear, no hesitation, and a Gateway first down.
Nothing too complicated about that. Picking up where this offense left off last week. They created some great holes for Dan Sear, who had his first game of the season over the century mark rushing the football. He's had a couple real nice runs here early in this one. See if they continue to call his number. All this does a great job in setting up a potential play action down the field.
1st and 10 for the Gators. Ball's at the 33 of the Warriors. Mitchell, all kinds of time. Looks for Carter, and it's knocked away from him. Nice open field play there by the Warriors. Nick Punko.
Punko, one of those upperclassmen that they trust out there on an island. That time gets the hand around, doesn't initiate too much contact with the receiver, doesn't draw the DPI call. Forces a 2nd and 10 here for the Gators. See if they try and push that ball downfield again, or if they just try to pick up some chunk yards here by giving it to Dan Sear in the backfield.
Moorfield, motion man right to left. Gators fake it to Moorfield. Mitchell takes off running, and he's going to slide down at the 30-yard line before nearly having his head taken off by 2 green jerseys.
Yeah, a little contact late there. Surprised we didn't see anything come of that as you take another look at it. He's definitely already initiated the slide. That's contact that really should not occur. Grabowski, luckily, it wasn't hard contact, and it wasn't targeted up toward the head. But nevertheless, what I do want to say, Mitchell, great job just taking what the defense gave him there, being decisive, picking up some yards to make this a much more manageable 3rd down. 3rd
down and about 8 from the 31-yard line. Gateway is going to accept the end of the first quarter and take a 6-0 lead into the second frame.
Been really impressed with Mitchell not forcing things really the last 3 weeks. He had the myriad of turnovers against Kiski area, but since then against Franklin Regional and last week against Armstrong, clean sheet, takes good care of the ball, gives his chance a team to win. And you know, after losing Elvis Kachakis early in the year, that's all you can really ask for, because there's not too many teams that would be sitting at 2-1 in conference play after losing their starting quarterback, but the Gators have found a way. Mitchell 225 in the air, 18-25 last week, picking up where he left off.
So Gateway taking the 6-0 lead into the second quarter. Penn Trafford with their full allotment of timeouts. Gateway has used 1 thus far. The Gators facing a 3rd down and 8. Fairly comfortably, though, into Warriors territory at the 31-yard line.
Which means they can be ambitious here in terms of what they want to call, whether or not they want to run the ball, pass the ball, where they want to push the ball on the field. You don't have to get all 8 yards here, especially if you can pick up a chunk, even half of that, and you're inside the 30. You have to feel like Don Hall's going to give that the green light for this offense. So looking at very likely 4-down territory here.
Mitchell, 2 backs behind him. Carter motions out of the formation. Look to the right, pass complete. Gateway first down. Moorfield couldn't escape the tackler. A nice open field tackle for Tyler Boss to prevent what could have been a huge gain, but still more than enough for a Gateway first down inside of the red zone.
Warriors brought 1 linebacker on the blitz, but only 3 down linemen, so Mitchell had plenty of time to survey his options, and a great job creating a little separation and making sure he was beyond that line to gain from Moorfield. Just a simple pitch and catch at that point.
Mitchell with Dan Sear over his left shoulder, motions Carter to the right of the formation. Play action, toss, Moorfield, touchdown. A 17-yard TD Mitchell to Moorfield. And the Gators on top 12-zip.
Touchdown, Gateway.
And 2 quick passing touchdowns for Mitchell. Take another look. Put this ball on a rope right into the arms of Moorfield, who takes it those last few yards across the goal line. But we talked about the toughest challenge that Penn Trafford's had all season was covering the skill position players for Woodland Hills. Having trouble again here tonight with Gateway.
PAT's up and good, and the Gators on top 13-0 after the Michelandrich PAT. And a little bit of shock along the near sideline. I think the Warriors thought that this game may be a bit of a rollover after they entered this game with a record of 5-1, and their lone loss coming to the Woodland Hills Wolverines on the road. But Gateway has come out. They've played defense spectacularly and have capitalized on offense.
Absolutely have. They have really been the victors in the field position game, have been working with much shorter fields than Penn Trafford has, and you're seeing that balance that Gateway has found the last couple weeks with the emergence of Julian Danseer as a legitimate rushing threat. Now that offense is able to keep opponents off of on their feet, sort of on their toes. The Gators taking advantage, a healthy mix of run and pass, moving that ball around the field. There's Carter on the first drive, finishing it off from the tight end position. It's been such an asset for this team the last couple years, and then a healthy dose of Moorfield on the second drive. He truly is one of the more special playmakers in the district.
Michelandrich kickoff, hanging up there, returnable. Undoubtedly for the Warriors. A gaping hole, and this could be a kickoff return for a touchdown of 90 yards for Cachado. And it is. And just like that, the momentum has swung back to the home team.
Untouched. That's when it hangs up like that. If you're not ready, he's over pursued a little bit. And he got behind everyone in a hurry. That you could tell only about a second or two after he caught that was going to go the distance. And a rare special teams blunder for the Gators. That's been a unit that's been really strong for them, but a blocked kick and a return touchdown tonight. Not a strong start for the Gator special teams.
And that one looked dangerous almost immediately after Cachado caught it. And the PAT is up and in for the Warriors. And it's a 6-point football game, just like it was a blink of an eye ago.
Well, if you're the Gators, you've been moving the ball offensively. You just got to keep going, right? I mean, that's sometimes games like this and what these conference games have looked like for the Gators. They've been games in the low to mid 30s. No reason to suspect we might not see points again here tonight. So for the Gators, got to come out, regroup, try to put more points on the board here. Look at the speed there. Casiato. Gators got a few of those guys though too. Terrence Cole. Nazir Diggs has certainly had a couple that have looked really close to breaking loose for 6. Boy, what a time this would be for the Gators to respond with a big special teams play of their own.
Sadler cleans it up.
So after the Cachado kick return for a touchdown, we've got ourselves a 6-point football game with 11:08 to play here in the first half.
Back 8.
Evan Sadler kicks off. Another bouncer. T. Cole grabs it at around the 13 to the right side. Has some blocks out across the 35. So Gateway with decent football, or rather decent field position here to start this one here in the second quarter.
Daniel Lisbon for the Warriors.
Earlier we touched on John Ruane and his staff here on the sideline, and one thing we didn't mention that we like to mention each and every year when the Gators play the Warriors is the number of Gateway teachers, faculty, that are on the staff for the Penn Trafford Warriors, including head coach John Ruane. Dave Ruby, the top assistant, is a Gateway teacher. And Garrett Schmidt teaches down at the elementary level at Gateway also. Little delay handoff here for Dan Sear and the Gators as he'll carry it out across the 40 to around the 42. Pickup of a handful brings up 2nd down and 5.
I like that play call for a number of reasons, and certainly Dan Sear staying in rhythm with how strong he has been. Or actually, Tristan Houston, excuse me. We've seen so much of the lead back Dan Sear that Houston comes in, nice change of pace run. But I like taking a little bit of time here, letting your offense get back into rhythm and not putting yourself at risk of going 3 and out with a bunch of passes and giving it right back to Penn Trafford with the momentum.
Houston, again the ball carrier, drives his way forward to the 1st down marker. Back-to-back 5-yard gains, for Tristan Houston.
Credit to Houston. He started out as RB1 to start the year, struggled in the first few games, had a couple turnovers in the loss against North Allegheny, got benched in favor of Dan Sear, who has remained RB1, but Houston's getting some opportunities here. He scored a touchdown last week against Armstrong, so there's still opportunities for him. He's played very well defensively for the Gators. It's a long season. Got to have a short memory. He's done a good job of that.
S.J. Moorfield motions to the boundary. Play action. Mitchell tosses in traffic. And the pass is incomplete. Initially looked like it was going to be pulled in by Nazir Diggs, but it hits the turf incomplete, and that brings up 2nd down and 10.
Whew. Might have been best case scenario the whole way around because there were a lot of green jerseys in the vicinity of that. Credit to Mason Mitchell still putting that in a position where his player had a chance to come down with it. That's a risky throw.
Clock stopped here, 9:40 to play, 2nd quarter. Plenty of time on the play clock at 10. Mitchell in shotgun, sidecar to his left. Handoff this time. Houston drives his way into Warriors territory inside of the 50 to the 48-yard line, and a gain of 5.
Being able to consistently get chunks of yards like that helps you stay on schedule and turns 3rd and 10 into 3rd and 5, which is much more manageable. And with the time that Mason Mitchell's had tonight, receivers don't need as much time to get past that line to gain. Gives you a real shot to convert here.
Houston motions to an empty set, setting up the screen for Carter up the middle. Read well this time by the Warriors. Gain of just 1 on that play brings up 4th down and 4 for the Gators. Ball's at the 47-yard line, and decision time for Don Hall and the Gators.
Punt team looks like they're coming on. I like that call. Your defense is still not allowed a point. Your defense has played incredibly well. Try to continue to win the field position game. Try to pin this team back. Force the return man to field this one cleanly. That was an issue the last time out. Although the Gators did have an issue with the snap. Let's see if they get this one off cleanly.
Monte Lemon snaps it to an up man, and it's one of the big fellas. Roberson Louise June drives his way towards the 1st down flag, and it'll be a Gateway 1st down. How about that? Direct snap to Roberson Louise June, and look at 55 rumble.
And he got just enough, and credit right here. Could have went down. Keeps fighting. That might have been that extra little effort to make for certain that he was past that line to gain. How about that? The big fella getting a carry, making it count.
Well, he handles the ball every offensive play.
He looked pretty comfortable.
Pistol this time. Mitchell pressured, pulled down, but it's either a horse collar or a face mask. One way or the other. It's going to be a penalty against the Warriors, and John Ruane isn't happy. He's almost all the way out to the numbers. And it's a 5-yard face mask penalty against the Warriors.
Let's see, we'll get another look at it here.
Face mask, Penn Trafford.
I mean, the referee was right there. He had a really good look at it. Much better than anybody up here in the press box or sitting in front of us in the stands. So a 5-yard penalty moves the ball to the 38, where it's 1st down and 5. Gators will motion 2 to the right. Flag flies. Toss to the far sideline as another flag comes down.
Well, this will be interesting too, because where Mitchell ended up throwing that ball, I don't think anyone was there.
Oh, there was Houston along that far boundary. I think the first flag may be pre-snap penalty against the Gators, legal shift, and the second one may have been holding against Gateway. So legal shift against Gateway. That penalty is going to be declined. Face mask, a 5-yarder against the Gators. And that one's going to be accepted. So face mask one way against the Warriors, then back the other way against the Gators along that offensive front. And it'll be 1st and 10, right back where we started at the 43.
Infractions against the Gators, 1st down and 10, Gateway.
Mitchell, all kinds of time. Looks left, looks back right, tosses it down the far sideline, and flags will fly, and rightfully so, as that pass was headed to Tyree Gowder, and on him like a sheet was Tyler Boss.
Some might argue that ball was just a little too far, but I think Gowder has a real legitimate chance at that. If Boss gives him the real estate to get to that ball, he clearly impeded Gowder's ability to get down the sidelines here. You'll see it clear as day, tangled up, easy flag.
Yeah, I concur with that one 100%, not just with Gateway lenses in my glasses. I mean, that one really was egregious against Tyler Boss, pushing the ball forward. Inside of the 30 to the 28, a 15-yard penalty gives the Gators 1st and 10, and an opportunity here to build again on a 6-point advantage. Gateway led oh so briefly 13-0 prior to a kickoff return for a touchdown. Toss right. Carter on the tight end screen. Breaking tackle, driving his way for a Gators 1st down.
Well, they got everything to click perfectly on that one. Got enough of the defense to bite on it, come through. Got guys in position. Carter is able to break one tackle and then fight through another to make sure he gets 1st down yardage. And Gators find themselves back in the red zone and a chance to maybe bleed a little clock here before halftime, en route to hopefully building on this lead.
According to the officials, Carter went out of bounds, so the clock is stopped at this point with 6:50 to play, 2nd quarter. Mitchell's in the shotgun, sidecars to either side. Now Carter motions out of the formation. Looking left, throwing left short to S.J. Moorfield. And that was the first pass that was not nearly on the mark for Mason Mitchell.
Looking a little bit of pressure coming through. My guess is Mitchell felt that and just got rid of that one. Looked like Moorfield was just breaking on that out route to where that ball should have been. So if Mitchell has maybe another half to full second there, it's probably a much easier throw and completion and potentially 6. But good call by John Ruane and that Penn Trafford defense, bringing pressure there and speeding that play up.
Mitchell again in the shotgun on 2nd and 10, and a timeout from the Gators sideline and Don Hall.
Well, while we have a second, how about this? Getting reports that a long-time 23-year record just fell in the WPIAL. I'm probably going to butcher the name, but senior Haran Zurikat, kicker for Fox Chapel, who's got an offer from Georgia, just nailed a 57-yard field goal.
My goodness.
As Fox Chapel leads Franklin Regional 10-0. Another Big East team doing battle in another part of town, but my goodness, can you imagine a 57-yard field goal in a high school game?
Taking a look at the Big East Conference, Woodland Hills and Armstrong undefeated at top of the league at 2-0. Gateway 2-1. The Warriors are 1-1. Their lone loss coming to Woodland Hills at the top of the league. The Kissimmee Cavaliers are 1-2, as are the Wildcats. And Franklin Regional winless on the year.
They're going through a full-scale rebuild. They graduated a ton of talent from a team that won a playoff game last year. And it shows you these two teams kind of log-jammed in the middle, how pivotal this game is beyond being a rivalry game. That playoff picture in 5A.
Mitchell, straight drop back. Sets up the pass this time to Wendell Hall. And Hall takes it inside of the 10 to the 9-yard line.
Wendell around the right-hand side.
Hall was lined up, slot on the left side, cut across the grain.
Yeah, nice play design. Get a bunch of guys going vertical, have him just sort of slip in underneath. Very easy throw to keep Mason Mitchell in rhythm. Gets a nice chunk of yards after you had been facing a second and long, now third and very manageable. And what, again, likely 4-down territory, unless they decide they want to go with Michael Andrich, even though he had a kick blocked earlier.
3rd down and 4 for the Gators. Mitchell pulls it out of the belly of Dancier, tosses to the far corner, and the pass is incomplete as Mitchell tossed it over there in the vicinity of Nazir Diggs, but really was basically throwing it away because Nazir Diggs was well covered by Nico Cachado, who has the touchdown today on the kick return for the Penn Trafford Warriors.
Smart play by the freshman quarterback. There was nothing there across the field, just gets rid of it to avoid the sack. Makes it a much easier field goal attempt now for his place kicker.
Jackson Michelandrich to attempt a 26-yard field goal. Good snap, good hold, kick up, and good. And the Gators stretch their lead to 16-7, a 2-score advantage over the Penn Trafford Warriors.
And a good job overcoming that adversity of seeing that long return. You bring your offense back on the field, do a lot of things right. You don't come away with 6, but you move the ball into the red zone once again, come away with points, great execution. Continue to play a relatively clean game.
So we got a 26-yard field goal for Jackson Michelandrich, the 3rd score of the game for the Gators. Gateway seeing touchdowns on passes to Casey Carter, the tight end, and S.J. Moorfield, the receiver. Michelandrich 1 of 2 in the PAT game. And the lone score today for the Penn Trafford Warriors was a 90-yard kickoff return for Nico Cachado. And you've got to assume that Jackson Michelandrich, his instructions here, kick it deeper and try to keep it away from number 3.
No kidding. Like we both said, it was pretty clear as soon as he caught that ball that something big was going to happen. And he found that greenery in front of him, and there was no doubt about it.
Michelandrich gets a better leg into this one, down to around the 1, but it's Cachado again on the return, and Cachado has nowhere to go this time after he crosses the 20 out towards the 25. Casey Carter, the junior tight end, was there to make the stop for the Gators.
Listen, these things are going to happen over the course of a season, especially, roses, flowers on the other side of Penn Trafford. I mean, they're a good team. They're 5-1 for a reason. They're going to make plays. They're going to score points. For the Gators, you got to find a way to have a short memory and clean those mistakes up and keep on rolling, and that's what they've done thus far tonight.
Quarterback Nate Desmond, who started the game, taking the snaps for the Warriors. He's going to hand off. A little hesitation and a burst for the Warriors. Tailback Ben Grabowski out towards the 30, where he'll be brought down by the second wave of Gator defenders.
Grabowski, a patient run, tenacious run, able to break through that first wave of contact, and that's what makes this team so difficult over the course of a 48-minute game, is they only run harder and harder as this game continues to go on.
Michael Burrows was the first one there for the Gators, and Louis June cleaned it up. So 2nd down and 5 from the 30 for the Warriors is to the ground. Penn Trafford will go again. Stickle this time, the ball carrier, drags a Gator with him, and Sena Agbadzi near 1st down yards there for Stickle, but it'll be 3rd down and 1 at the 34.
Talked about in pregame how the Gators really struggled down the stretch making tackles, and just such a different body language and presence from this Gators defense early in this first half, setting the tone, winning battles at the line of scrimmage. Really impressive to watch how much they have adjusted from last week to this week, at least thus far.
Yakimelli now the quarterback. He'll run left. Tries to turn the corner and was able to drive his way forward for a 1st down for the Warriors. Wendell Hall ultimately making the tackle for the Gateway Gators.
Yeah, Wendell Hall and company, down on the DN position, doing what you want to do in theory, getting out there in front and forcing the running back away from the sidelines and having to force that back inside where you have help from your linebackers. And unfortunately, the Gators just didn't have a whole lot of real estate to give up there for Penn Trafford, who done a good job on this drive, at least staying on schedule, picking up yards on each play.
Desmond, the quarterback, sends a man in motion from left to right, bringing trips on the right of the formation. Desmond spins, comes to the near sideline, and the pass is complete. As Tristan Houston overruns the coverage, Colton Tyberski on the comebacker hauls it in at the 45.
Well, and credit to Tyberski. That's an excellent catch. Getting his head around. He was falling down. This ball underthrown. And for the receiver to be able to make that adjustment, come back to the ball, and complete a diving catch, I have a hard time really asking Tristan Houston to do more than he did there, which was staying stride for stride. Just a really, really nice play offensively there.
Great route run by Tyberski. Like you said, a terrific catch in combination. Desmond off of play action again. Has time. Throws. Intercepted by Gateway. Picked off Ian Woods.
Oh, if Woods keeps his balance there, he's got a long way to go in front of him, but I don't know that.
Oh, man.
I'm sure the Gators will take that. That's a lame duck of a throw there into double coverage, and easy catch for the Gators. Now a chance to have the last possession if you're able to use this clock effectively before the half. Boy, what a first half the Gators have played thus far. You want to knock on wood and not put the cart in front of the horse here with still about 3 minutes to play, but by and large, a really impressive effort.
Gators from the sideline to the line of scrimmage after the interception by Ian Woods, and then he was tripped up by the intended receiver. The Gators have it at their own 28. Play action Mitchell. Going to toss it deep. S.J. Moorfield diving attempt, can't pull it in as he got a couple of steps behind Colton Tyberski.
Look for the home run ball to Moorfield Jr.
I tell you, as Mason Mitchell grows as a quarterback, this deep ball, if he can find that perfect touch on it, he is going to have some eye-popping numbers, because that's probably the third or fourth time this year where he's had that go route and just missed it ever so slightly. Boy, was that close.
Handoff. Dan Sear. Little hesitation after taking the handoff. Little Lev Bell action before being brought down across the 30 to the 31.
A little jump cut and then just unable to get away from the outstretched arms of Luca Butler, another one of those talented senior linebackers that Penn Trafford has. Real strength of that defense. Now passing situation here for the Gators. Can they capitalize on the second turnover?
Mitchell, play action. Oh, in and out of the hands of S.J. Moorfield. He had to step away from the defender, and the pass was just a little bit too sharp by Mitchell. And the punt unit comes on, so the Gators not able to take advantage of the takeaway.
Mitchell once again looking for Moorfield, falls incomplete.
We got a injured player for Penn Trafford. Great shot by our camera crew. Looks like just some cramping by Cody Iacomelli. Certainly, he's one of those players that Warriors are going to need, especially down 9 here.
And bad news here for the Gators. The snap bounces to Mikulandrich. He can't hang on to it. Steps forward to try to scoop it up and went down on a knee. You talked about Mikulandrich dodging that bullet earlier, and that time not able to. So the Gators got the takeaway, go 3 and out, and then can't get the punt off. Instead, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Warriors right at the edge of the red zone.
Hard for folks to really understand the panic that sets in when you've got 11 guys running at you and you got to try and not only pick up the ball but focus on trying to kick it. Unfortunate error.
Desmond hands off, gaping hole over the right side. Grabowski is brought down picking up close to first down yardage, just a hair shy of that 10-yard line, is Ben Grabowski. So it's 2nd down and 1 for the Warriors, as a touchdown-saving tackle is made by Carlos Diggs.
Well, and for the Gators, you got to keep in mind, Penn Trafford's going to get the ball back to start the second half, so this is a pivotal moment in this game.
Desmond takes the snap. Grabowski runs right, drives his way inside of the 10 before being enveloped by the Gators defense. First Gator there is Taiwan Napper, as he had to use the blocker as part of the tackle.
For the Warriors, you got plenty of time. All your timeouts in your back pocket. You want to certainly get points here, and a bonus would be to score with very little, if any, time left, so the Gators get no chance. You ensure that you get really essentially 2 possessions back to back, a chance to go from down 9 to in the lead early in the 3rd quarter.
1st and goal for the Warriors with the ball at the 7-yard line. Game clock under a minute to go as Desmond rolls right. He's pressured. The ball gets knocked loose. It's scooped up by Gateway. Tristan Houston with the scoop. He's running down the near sideline and will step out of bounds just shy of the 50-yard line. Huge play there by the Gateway defense.
An opportunistic Gators defense, as you see, in without any pressure at all. Again, it's S.J. Moorfield, and could we be looking at a game where S.J. Moorfield has a bigger game defensively than offensively? Still a lot of game left, and Moorfield does have the touchdown on offense, but boy, 2 massive plays by number 3 defensively, and that time forcing the fumble. Tristan Houston, much like we saw Khalid Harper earlier, very aware of what's happening in the play, able to dive on that quickly, get some great yards on the scoop and return out toward midfield. Now the Gators back in business, get that offense back on the field, a chance to flip this game on its head.
So after the S.J. Moorfield strip sack and the recovery by Houston, the Gators have it 1st and 10. They'll go to the air, wide open. S.J. Moorfield, little hitch after catching that one, and he'll just trot to the far boundary at around the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway.
Well, so smart to get out of bounds, save that timeout, especially if you get into a situation where you want to get your kick team settled and ready. He looked, Moorfield, I don't know that he expected to be that open, because he kind of held up a little bit thinking he might be having to make someone miss. And he looked and there was no one there. So he just sort of, like you said, trotted his way over to the sidelines to give the Gators a fresh set of downs and stop that clock.
S.J. granted the 30-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for Gateway. Play action again. Mitchell setting up the screen. It's caught this time by Dancier. Flags are down as Dancier races to the far sideline, and the vast majority of this is going to be coming back, and maybe a little bit more.
Gators have done a good job up until this point, not getting called for any downfield holding on some of those screen plays.
So after the penalty, the ball will be marched back to the 33-yard line. So it's 1st down and 13. The line to gain is the 20. As the Gateway Gators looking to take advantage of the 3rd turnover of the game for the Penn Trafford Warriors. 1 special teams fumble on a muff punt. 1 interception that the Gators weren't able to capitalize off of. They ended up giving the Warriors the ball back at the 20, and then a stripped sack by S.J. Moorfield and a scoop by Tristan Houston pushed that ball out towards midfield. So there were 2 penalties against the Gators. One was an ineligible receiver downfield. The other one was a hold down the field. So Penn Trafford ends up accepting the ineligible receiver for the 2 more yards as the pass to Diggs is incomplete. He gets hit hard as the pass got there. Big hit there by the Warriors' Nick Ponko, but back to that penalty. A very quick decision and a smart decision by Ruane to accept the penalty that was just 2 more yards.
Means the Gators need that many more yards for either a score or a field goal attempt, you feel like you probably won about another 10 to 15 yards to feel pretty comfortable with Michael Andrich out there.
Toss left to S.J. Moorfield. He's got a convoy in front of him as he carries it inside of the 30 to the 29-yard line, a gain of 6. And Gateway uses the timeout here.
Moorfield for about 6. Inside the 30, knocked on
What that
at the
essentially
29.
means is whatever you're going to draw up here offensively, it's got to either be to the sidelines or to the end zone. And you have one, maybe two shots at it. I mean, the only thing that I could think of is if you do get something across the middle of the field and get the first down, you got to get your offense. That's probably what Don Hall's telling them right now is if we get that ball in the middle of the field, we get a first down. We need guys sprinting to get that ball clocked, give us a chance to either get one more shot at the end zone or to bring the field goal unit out. Either way, from where this game looked about 90 seconds of game time ago till now, the Gators in a much more advantageous position. It looked like Penn Trafford could cut this lead down to as many as 1 or 2 before the halftime break. Now, Gators got a real legitimate chance to add on to this lead here.
We take the lead up to a dozen.
And see if you still have your phone. If you
Currently
don't,
sits at 9.
see if it's yours.
But right now on 3rd down and 9, the Gators have the football in the middle of the field. Clock stopped here. They've used their final timeout, as we said. So the clock will stop if the Gators get a first down. But they've got to spike it quickly if they do get that first down shortly after the ball is set. Mitchell tossing to S.J. Moorfield. Gateway touchdown, a diving catch for S.J. Moorfield.
We talked about it. If Mason Mitchell could find the touch on that ball, the opportunities have been there not only tonight but all season long. And that time Moorfield makes an out-of-this-world grab in the back of the end zone. And we talked about it, flipping the game on its head. How about going not just a dozen, now you got an opportunity to have a 16-point lead going into the halftime break.
Good snap, hold down, kick up. That kick good. And Gateway on top of the Penn Trafford Warriors 23-7 with 8 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
I don't know if it's time just yet to be ringing the bell, but boy, I don't blame them for being excited. The Gators have come out and taken control of this game. There's a great look at that catch by Moorfield. And not only is it tough getting that into your hands, but bringing that to the ground. The official had a great view of it there right at the front pylon. So if that ball would have jiggled at all or jostled loose, they would have had eyes right on it. Instead, Moorfield able to control that to the ground.
Once again, we take a look at this one. Mitchell with a little pump and then tossing over 2 Warriors and the diving catch by S.J. Moorfield.
That might be an early contender for play of the week here in the WPIAL. I mean, like you said, Adam, throwing that over the shoulders of not 1 but 2 defenders that were draped over Moorfield. It was good coverage. That ball had to be perfect, and boy was it. Mason Mitchell with a really pretty ball there, just dropping it right into the bucket. S.J. Moorfield making a really tough grab. Gators well in control of this one heading toward halftime.
Michael Andrich gonna kick a squibber that rolls past the Warriors. It's a free ball. And Penn Trafford's going to scoop it up at around the 4-yard line. And a big tackle there for Ian Woods and the Gateway Gators.
That couldn't have gone any more perfect than you want, because now if you're Penn Trafford, you're just going to come out and kneel this ball.
Also on the return drop at the 5-yard line.
Kaysen Offield, the sophomore, had to race back after it rolled past him. Scooped it up inside the 5, got to the 6 before Ian Woods made the tackle for the Gators.
Making a nice special team play for the Gators.
Big credit to the Gators special teams unit. They did have the gaff allowing the touchdown, but how often have we seen guys that are freshmen, sophomores fly into the ball and understanding this is their moment, their opportunity to make really big plays.
And the Gateway Gators with 3 takeaways in the first half, and they capitalize, and they lead to Gators points. The muffed punt that turned into a Casey Carter touchdown. The interception that led to a 3-and-out But here, the strip sack by S.J. Moorfield, the scoop by Tristan Houston that leads to an S.J. Moorfield touchdown, and the Gators end up taking a 23-7 lead into the locker room, Vince.
And the power of having Mason Mitchell behind center is that for the past 2.5 games, he's played incredibly clean. Hasn't fumbled the ball, hasn't turned it over, hasn't thrown interceptions, and he's given you every chance to win. And your defense is making some incredible plays, and the offense is taking advantage. I mean, it's really hard to find much to complain about in this first half for the Gators other than allowing that long return touchdown. The defense is firing off the ball. They have limited Grabowski and Yakimelli. They've bottled those guys up for the most part. This Penn Trafford offense not looking very explosive, and now you're in a perfect position where they got to abandon the run a little bit. It's a 16-point game with 24 minutes of game action left. Penn Trafford's going to have to go away from their comfort zone a little bit if they want to try to get back into this game.
Gateway just 13 points a season ago, and they did it with smoke and mirrors in Monroeville a season ago when they lost the bell to the Warriors. 23 points already in the first 24 minutes here.
Yeah, and they look so composed, from a week ago where they kind of fell apart down the stretch. Had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter against Armstrong, a team that has not been there before, has not done it. And the Gators kind of let one get away, if we're being honest. So there was some real thought around what team's going to show up tonight for the Gators. And I don't think a lot of people thought it would be this one that has come out and just blown the doors off of this first half. Huge credit to Don Hall and his staff and the players down there on the field for getting that bad taste out of their mouth last week, coming out and playing a really impressive first half of football.
Homecoming in Harrison City. All the ceremonies were before the game, so the good news is you get to enjoy both marching bands here at halftime. We're going to step away when we return. Third quarter action for Vince Russo and our entire crew. I'm Adam Gusky. We'll talk to you then. The Battle of the Bell continues in Harrison City, Pennsylvania. It's halftime, and the Gateway Gators lead the Penn Trafford Warriors 23-7. The Gators taking advantage of Warriors' miscues, and they are firing on all cylinders, are the Gateway Gators, with 3 touchdowns. Starting off with a touchdown pass from Mason Mitchell to Carter, the tight end, and this one was nifty. 2 fakes, Carter wide open and into the end zone. Followed that up with the first of back-to-back touchdowns to S.J. Moorfield. And this one was the beauty, the diving catch by S.J. as the pass over the shoulders of 2 defenders.
If you're a Gators fan, this has been objectively just an incredibly fun game to watch. Your defense is firing off the ball. They're generating turnovers. The offense is then taking those turnovers, marching down the field, putting points on the board. And it's your biggest names making big plays in the biggest moments. And accentuate that with a couple underclassmen making some heady plays on special teams, especially a huge shout out to Khalid Harper diving on a ball after a muffed punt return opportunity by Penn Trafford. And the Gators have been highly opportunistic and have turned that into a 16-point halftime lead.
Getting set to begin the third quarter, Adam Gusky and Vince Russo on the call for you here on Gateway Gator Productions. Want to thank our entire crew for their hard work all evening long. And of course, want to thank Carrie Hetrick, the athletic director here at Penn Trafford High School. It has absolutely been a pleasure coming here yet again.
Always is. And a beautiful venue to watch a game. And the crowd, always dynamic. I know homecoming night tonight here in Harrison City certainly adds to that aura, but this is a great place to come watch a game and a fan base that really gets up for games like this, especially games like this, a rivalry game. And I know the Gators got their pound of flesh in the first half, but it's going to take a full 24 minutes here by the Gators to keep this Penn Trafford team at bay.
Does the bell go back to Monroeville, or does it stay here in Harrison City? 24 minutes of football between now and then. Another decent return, a gaping hole initially for Casciato, but it closed quickly at the 20 as the Gators were there to make the stop. Taiwan Napper, amongst others, in on the tackle.
After that 90-yard return in the first half, every time he touches the ball, you sort of hold your breath for a moment. The Gators did a good job staying in their lanes, converging on the ball carrier, limiting the damage. Now, Penn Trafford, what are they going to do offensively? It was tough sledding in that first half. They were able to move the ball a little bit incrementally running it, but the Gators got ample pushback.
2 turnovers on the offensive side in the first half for the Warriors. To the ground they'll go on first down, and Grabowski picks up a couple before he is met and brought down by the sophomore Nazir Diggs.
What a difference a week makes. Look at this beautiful open field form tackle. Wraps up, drives the legs back, does Nazir Diggs, and finishes that play with the running back going backwards. That's a tough thing for any team to do against this Penn Trafford offense that is so proud of being able to move the football on the ground. At that time, Diggs, an excellent open field tackle.
Motion man into the formation. Desmond off of play action. He's pressured, setting up the screen. It's a high floater that's pulled in by Grabowski. And another nifty open field tackle, this time by Tristan Houston, who had the big scoop and run out near midfield near the end of half number 1.
The play was set up nicely, and you see you have Grabowski there by himself. I don't know what happened with the throw there, but Desmond, that one went higher than it went, more vertical than horizontal on that, and that allowed Gateway's defense to flock to the ball, limit the damage, and bring up third down here.
Third down and 4, the ball spotted at the 36-yard line. The line to gain is the 40. Desmond looking right. And John Ruane is hot as he has to burn a timeout.
It's valuable currency for a coach. Have those, you're trailing here to start the second half. You need a big drive out of your offense to try and kickstart some momentum in a game that the Gators, other than one lapse on special teams, have really thoroughly taken Penn Trafford to the woodshed on this one, and now you have to burn a timeout. Your team looks disorganized coming out of the halftime break. That's a tough pill for any coach to swallow.
So a timeout on the field. We talked about this earlier. This is the Battle of the Bell. A bell that once was on a train in the Pitcairn train yard about 100 years ago, was removed from that train and became the Victory Bell that then Pitcairn High School and Trafford High School battled for back and forth for years until Pitcairn ended up merging with Monroeville to become Gateway. The bell disappeared, and we'll talk more about that as the evening progresses. As Desmond sends Grabowski in motion. Toss to the right side. It's complete. Pulled in. Ponko, he's brought down after picking up the first down.
Ponko, one of those guys that is going to get some more opportunities here as Penn Trafford trying to pick up yards in chunks. He's one of their go-to receivers, has made a handful of plays defensively. Last year he had 11 receptions for 165 yards. Trying to take that extra step forward this year. And an offense that likes to run it, going to have to pass it a lot in this second half.
Desmond, he hands off. Grabowski running left, bouncing off of tacklers, slides away from another tackle. He's into the open field, weaving back and forth, inside the 20, inside the 10, across the goal line for a huge touchdown for the Warriors, covering 58 yards.
There is no quit in this Penn Trafford team. And right there, you see them led by Grabowski. Nothing going there. It looked like that was going to be bottled up at the line of scrimmage as we take a look at the replay. And Grabowski able to keep that motor churning, gets to the outside. A couple Gators collide there, which opens up just that little wiggle room for Grabowski. And from there, had just enough juice to turn on the burners, get to the end zone. Outrunning Ian Woods in this Gators offense, or defense, excuse me.
And the two-point conversion comes through. As in the end zone, Jacob Briggs.
That little hot pass that you saw popularized in the early to mid-2000s for that Tim Tebow Florida team. Well designed. Player in the back of the end zone was able to get off the blocks, get open, and an easy little pitch and catch, and all of a sudden we're back to a one-score game just a few minutes in. And we talked about it right before kickoff, but this is going to be a full 48-minute battle. If the Gators thought that this one was done and dusted at halftime, that's a little premature, because this is a well-coached team, both teams. And it's a rivalry, makes it all that much more of a game that is going to require both these teams to give effort the entire way.
A week ago, the Gators overcame an 11-point halftime deficit to take an 11-point second-half lead, and they watched that disappear and ended up losing to the Armstrong Riverhawks. Gateway took a very comfortable 23-7 lead into the locker room here at halftime, but the Warriors score first, as this kick will carry out of bounds and set up the Gators in nice field position at the 35.
A good eye by Terrence Cole there, tracking that one the entire way. And that'll give the Gators nice field position here to start their first offensive possession of the second half. If I'm the Gators, I don't go away from what was working in that first half. I don't think you get too conservative. Keep the balance between run and pass, but go with what's working. Mason Mitchell looked stellar in that first half, and certainly we saw that ball in the back of the end zone into S.J. Moorfield. And any more football, the way the game is designed, it feels like you just got to try and outscore your opponent. And Gators certainly, with 23 points in the first half, took a big step towards that. See if they can keep that going here in the second half.
Gators will settle Moorfield and Carter on the left of the formation. 10 seconds to go on the play clock. Now Carter motions back to the right. High snap. Mitchell has to slide down. He can't get it as it bounces away from him. Dan Sear covers it up, and the Gators out of sorts. The ball back to the 24-yard line, a loss of 11.
Well, we saw the Penn Trafford Warriors have to burn a timeout early, not organized, not efficient. Now the Gators see a snap go over the quarterback's head. It's going to make it second and very, very long. So both teams a little rusty coming out of that extended halftime break here at homecoming.
Mitchell has time, steps up into the pocket, scrambles left, throws, has a receiver open in Carter as the coverage broke down, but Mitchell overthrows Carter, and that brings up third down.
That's one area where the freshman has got some real room to improve, and I'm sure he certainly will, but did a great job extending the play, just couldn't get that ball, couldn't get the touch on it that he needed, and overthrows a wide open Carter that was behind the defense and would have created a foot race, and more importantly, at least would have gotten that first down. Instead, now it's 3rd and 21 deep in your own territory, and all you can think about is if you give this ball back to Penn Trafford, you're a play or two away from this game being knotted up.
Mitchell off of play action. Screen, Dan Sear picks up a block, picks up a second, steps around a defender. Out across the 30 to the 31. So the Gators pick up some modest yardage there and some breathing room for the punt, but still the punt unit is going to have to come up here on 4th down and 14.
And the defense is going to come back out on the field after getting gashed by the long run by Grabowski, and you see that change in momentum. It was a very quiet Penn Trafford sideline the first half. Now a little more body language, a little more excitement down there.
Not the best punt by Mikalandrich, but a couple of hops in favor of the Gators as that'll bounce out of bounds. They say at the 40, but it looked like it had a little bit more in bounds than that. But regardless, 60 yards away from what could be a tie ball game for the Warriors.
Time to buckle up the chin strap. You know what's coming. What Gateway defense are we going to see? The one that laid the lumber in that first half and made it real tough sledding for the Warriors offense?
Third quarter score, Hempfield 26.
Or is it going to be more broken tackles and another long run by this Penn Trafford offense? Certainly they're hoping that they can continue to find that running room.
Motion man from right to left. As the ball goes to Grabowski, bouncing it left. Stiff arms a Gator. Still on his feet, and he'll be wrapped and brought down by Houston. But Grabowski is feeling it right now.
Really gave the Gators fits a couple years ago in this game. Like we talked about, as a freshman, he ran for almost 800 yards, which is even more impressive when you think about Tasso Whipple was their lead back that year. He had well over 1,000 yards, so he was a great complimentary piece. Now the feature back.
Whipple playing football at IUP, not far from here in Westmoreland County, and across the county line into Indiana County. Clock winding, 7:20 here in quarter 3. Gateway on top by 8, but the Gators were on top by 16 at halftime. The Warriors scoring a touchdown. Ben Grabowski, a 58-yarder. And then the 2-point conversion pass, Yakimelli to Briggs. 2nd and a half dozen. Desmond's going to keep it himself. Nowhere to go.
Desmond on the quarterback keeper.
First one there, Roberson Louis-June, who has a first down carry to his credit today. Yes, that's right, the Gators center and defensive lineman has a first down rush on a direct snap on a fake punt.
Looked very comfortable with the ball in his hands. Used to starting the play by giving it to someone else. That time someone gave it to him and he looked comfortable, got right where he needed to be, led to some Gators points.
Saw the Steelers' Broderick Jones do something similar this past Sunday, but it wasn't designed that way. As to the air go the Warriors, a little screen and slipping through tackles goes Penn Trafford. As the tackle's made by the Gators, Ponko carries it inside of the 25 to the 20 ultimately.
Nice play design, and they got just enough blocking there. You take a look. And there it was a foot race, and a good job by Wendell Hall just being able to make the tackle. Tried to jar that one loose. You appreciate the effort, but Ponko, sure-handed, takes that one down to the turf, and now the nose of the football right at that red zone. And Trafford in business trying to nod this one up.
Desmond in the pistol. Motion man from right to left is Ponko. Play action. And a flag flies. And it's a pre-snap penalty against the Warriors. That'll move them back 5 to the 25.
And that's been the biggest issue for Penn Trafford tonight, is a lot of their errors and a lot of what has led to Gators' big plays has been self-inflicted wounds, whether it's turnovers, penalties. It has been far from a clean sheet for this offense, and yet they still find themselves with an opportunity to tie this game up on this drive.
Desmond in the pistol, play action, looking left. A little happy feet as he tosses it into the track.
He had a lot of time. There was no pressure.
Moorfield Jr.
Gators had all kinds of guys up along the line, dropped a few back into coverage at the last moment, but good job by that Gators secondary. There were no options downfield. Forced Desmond to just throw that one, like you said, Adam, out into the track to live for second down. If you're the Gators now, you've got Penn Trafford, a run-heavy team behind the sticks a little bit here on second down. That's certainly advantageous.
Grabowski, the Wildcat quarterback, trying to run left. The Gators sniff that one out as Grabowski maybe picks up a yard as wave after wave of white jerseys gets there. And at the bottom of the pile for Gateway is Michael Burrows.
Look at this stiff arm here.
Third down and 14.
He had a little help on the block. Maybe that wasn't as impressive as I first thought looking at the replay, but he was able to shed Moorfield, who was already being blocked, and that held him up enough that it allowed a convergence of Gators to get helmets on Grabowski to stop that one in its tracks. And now, very likely a passing situation here. Gators already have one interception on the evening.
Desmond flushed, throwing, and the pass is deflected. Houston jumps out of his shoes to try to get a hold of that one and maybe got a fingertip on it.
Houston at 5'10", if he's got a few more inches on him, he probably comes down with this one. That one was thrown right to him, just a little high. And the Gators defense holds and forces a field goal attempt now, and it's not going to be a gimme. 41 yards from the left hash.
Jack Miller. Looks like the right guard for Penn Trafford moved, but did Gateway breach the neutral zone first? They did. So that'll make it 5 yards easier for Jack Miller.
Yeah, taking that from 4th and 14 to 4th and 9, I don't think that changes the calculus in what you're going to do here, and certainly John Ruane not budging from keeping that field goal unit on, but certainly 41 to 36 makes this a far easier kick now for Miller.
Good snap, hold down, kick by Miller is up. And that kick is good, and that cuts the Gators' lead down to 5. And it was at the farthest a one-score game could be, and now it's a lot closer. In fact, a touchdown gives Penn Trafford the lead.
Impressive kick there by Miller. That would have been good probably from another 10-15 yards. Really nice kick there. For the Gators, you held. You still have the lead. You got to be able to put all this behind you. A rough start here to the third quarter, but an opportunity to get that offense in rhythm, play keep away for a little bit, try and put some points on the board. It feels like didn't get a real solid look at the offense the last time out. That errant snap really kept the Gators out of sorts and off of their game plan, having to be so far behind the sticks. Now you're at a place, hopefully you can get settled in, execute, try to move this football.
Evan Sadler will kick off for the Penn Trafford Warriors after the 37-yard field goal by Jack Miller. Sadler, bouncing kick into the hands of T. Cole from the 15. Wiggling his way out to the 25 and brought down about the 28-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway.
Thing is, even with how far behind the sticks they were a connection to Casey Carter away from really turning that drive into something productive. The plays have been there all night, all season for the Gators. It's just can they execute? At times it's been drops early in the season. That time it was a throw that wasn't quite on the mark. And sometimes you got to remind yourself that Mason Mitchell's a freshman playing in his 4th varsity game. Because boy, does he look every bit of an upperclassman, especially after that throw to the back of the end zone to S.J. Moorfield. But there's still some moments where he reminds you that he's an underclassman.
Play action, pump, toss, hangs up, S.J. pulls it in. This may be offensive pass interference at the midfield stripe.
Mitchell once again to Moorfield.
But the flag came down, and we'll have to see from the official on that far side who it's against.
The players definitely got tangled up. I don't know if I saw a push off by Moorfield. I could be wrong. Yeah,
so it ends up being holding against Penn Trafford, so that gets declined.
There was definitely contact. It looked completely inadvertent between the two sides, as we'll take another look at it here. I don't think I like the flag being thrown there at all. I think that's just two players that got their feet tangled up a little bit, and Moorfield was able to adjust and make a nice play.
I just saw the Warrior go down there initially and thought maybe Moorfield had extended and pushed the Penn Trafford player to the turf, but that was not the case. Instead, it's 1st and 10 right near the midfield stripe. Followed up by a Julian Dancier carry of 1 yard. And it's 2nd down and 9 from the 48.
Like them continuing to sprinkle in the run, keep this Penn Trafford defense on its toes. Even though the passing game has been highly productive, you don't want to become one-dimensional.
Mitchell looks left, throws left, complete to S.J. Moorfield, who steps out of bounds inside of the 45 at the 43. That brings up 3rd and manageable.
Good timing throw there. Just read it the whole way, waited for that break. Coverage was a little soft on Moorfield. Just took what the defense was willing to give you there. They were okay with that completion being made if it meant not giving up the 1st down. But for the Gators, it makes it a very manageable 3rd down here.
Mitchell pressured, ball comes loose. Somehow he's able to adjust his body and come down on it at the 50. That could have been catastrophic for the Gators.
That might be one of the best plays Mitchell has made tonight. Granted, he's got to keep that ball tucked in. He can't be carrying it like a loaf of bread there, but luckily at the last minute able to pounce on that one.
Wearing number 61, Aiden Corbett.
So Aiden Corbett with the big play. And it's 4th down here, 4th and 11 from the 50, and the Gators keep the offense on the field. We've seen the punt snaps out of sorts for Gateway.
And the way that Penn Trafford offense is rolling, not surprised, but the play clock runs out here.
And Gateway accepts the delay of game. Will allow the ball to be moved back to the 45.
Delay game, Gators have a crossing 5.
And now the punt unit is on, and the pressure is on the long snapper. Good one to Mikalandrich. He gets it away under duress. Takes bounces in favor of the Gators. Continues to roll. Inside of the 15. And will roll dead at the 13. Jackson Michael Andrich with a beaut.
Sorry, Adam. This whole game has felt like a game of inches more so than you normally see. And at that time, Michael Andrich, oh so barely got that one off with a bunch of green helmets bearing down, and has gotten more often than not some really great bounces tonight. That time rolling, like you said, all the way inside the 20, creating a long field to work with for Penn Trafford. Didn't help that one was a pretty low and direct punt as well. That didn't get a whole lot of loft on it.
Quarterback this time, Iacomelli, running left. Met 1 yard deep in the backfield, and Houston dumps Iacomelli long after the whistle, and that's going to cost the Gators 15.
Houston and Kayan and Bandy in there as well with a shove at the end. And that's just one of those plays you know you can't commit. And all of a sudden you go from having them bottled up second behind the sticks inside the 15 to a whole new lease on life for this team.
In Bandy, Houston, and one of the two of them, the guilty party. Regardless, it costs the Gators 15. So instead of 2nd down and 11, it's 1st and 10, and the ball gets moved out to the 28. Iacomelli, the QB, he hands off. Grabowski drives his way across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
Inside running out of the 35 to the 36.
Well, this third quarter has been really the first time the Gators have faced this level of adversity and have kind of gotten punched in the mouth a bit. So how do you respond? Your opponent's made some big plays. In the first half, you had the return touchdown, and you turned around, came back, got points on the other side of that, and were able to put that behind you with a Jackson Michael Andrich field goal. How do you respond now with Penn Trafford starting to turn the tide a little bit?
Iacomelli on the carry. Slides out of the first tackle, but the Gators are there on the second wave. As Sena Egbadzi gets involved with the tackle, as does Taiwan Napper. It's enough for the first down.
Nothing complicated about that one. This is where Penn Trafford wants to be. This is where they excel. Being able to put some points up early in that third quarter has allowed them to get back to the game they want to play. Now it's up to the Gators to bring it defensively.
Clock winding under 30 seconds to play. Here in quarter 3, Gateway on top by 5 after leading by 16 at the half. Screen pass complete, pulled in. And not a ton of room there. Looked like Cachado had more room initially, but the Gators swarmed quickly.
They've done a really good job of that tonight, and what's going to end up being the last play of the third quarter, flocking to the ball and then grabbing, whether it be an ankle or a knee or whatever, just hanging on for dear life. Good tackling tonight by the Gators.
Earlier I was reviewing the history of the bell, talked about it dating back to the old Trafford versus Pitcairn days, and Pitcairn ended up winning more games than Trafford back during the initial rivalry. And the rivalry ended when Pitcairn merged with Monroeville to form Gateway School District. The bell disappeared after Pitcairn won the final game between Pitcairn and Trafford. And apparently it was taken by one of the players from Pitcairn, took it with him to college at Teal College. And 17 years ago, the bell turned up in a fraternity house at Teal and was returned back. And the Battle of the Bell resumed now between Penn Trafford and Gateway.
An important one tonight. Gators hold the 13-12 series lead. Penn Trafford trying to pull even and keep that bell here in Harrison City after last year's win, as you saw there on the front of the bell.
2 seasons ago here on this field on Penn Trafford's homecoming, Gateway took the bell with them back to Monroeville. Can they do it again tonight? 12 minutes of football between then and now. Right now it's a 5-point lead for Gateway. Straight drop back. Stepping up. It's complete. Desmond finds Ponko inside of the 50 to the 48.
That connection's been really strong for Penn Trafford tonight. Desmond has had plenty of time to throw. Ponko doing a good job finding the soft spot in that defense beyond the sticks. Setting up shop here now just past midfield. Penn Trafford again threatening here.
Carlos Diggs for the Gators.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Warriors. Ball at the Gators' 48-yard line. Desmond out of the shotgun in the empty set. Throws it down the middle of the field. It's intercepted by the Gators. Right into the hands of Carlos Diggs playing center field.
Read that the entire way. A great job reading the quarterback's eyes. You're going to see Diggs right there at the top of your screen, playing free safety, not letting anyone behind him. And at that point, there's not too many people who are going to be able to wrestle that away from the 5'10", 175-pound main recruit. So he's able to high point that ball, aggressive catch, made sure he was the one to come down with it. And if the Gators are able to secure a victory tonight, it's largely going to be on the shoulders of this defensive unit that is forcing out their 3rd turnover and 4th turnover of the night overall against the Warriors.
Can the Gators turn the Diggs pick into points? Motion man Carter to the right. Handoff. Dancier across the 20 before being pulled back by the green shirts. First one there, Luca Butler for the Warriors.
That defensive front 7 for the Warriors has really settled into this game nicely. There were some holes in the early going. Dancier ripped off a couple nice runs. Not a whole lot going here since then. They've bottled that Gators rushing attack up.
Mitchell looks to the sideline, gets the play. 12 on the shot on the play clock. Delay. Dancier. Gators first down to the 30.
Dancier with a big gainer to the 30. First down, Gateway.
That little hesitation allowed Dancier to make that one cut and then full head of steam ahead. A great job just lowering the shoulder, getting where he needed to go. And if the Gators can start to move the ball this way, that'll bode real well for them, not only trying to get some points on this drive, but using a lot of time as well. It'll be a real plus.
Carter settles on the left of the formation as a wing. Mitchell scrambles right, pressured, picks up a block from Little, and the toss to the right side is incomplete.
Mitchell with all kind of time.
Nice second effort there by Trayshawn Little.
Looking for Gowder, falls incomplete.
And he's had his hands full over there throughout the evening with Aiden Corbett.
The newly crowned king, Tyler Boss.
Corbett got around him initially, and Trey got back and made the play.
Mitchell's had pretty good time to work with tonight. And even when he hasn't, you see plays like this where he's been able, that incompletion to Carter, even though the pass wasn't great, his ability outside of the pocket to keep his eyes downfield and to keep himself upright has been really impressive for a freshman quarterback.
S.J. Moorfield motions to the left of the formation as the handoff goes to Dancier, and he is met and dropped. 2 Warriors there, including Jacob Briggs.
It looks like he probably got the wind knocked out of him. I mean, he got decleated by 2 of the big-time defensive players. He's going to feel that one as Tristan Houston spells him.
3rd down and 11.
Boy, what a hit.
Briggs and Grabowski both get involved. Ends up being a loss of 1. As the clock now winds, under 10 minutes to play in this 4th quarter. Gateway has yet to score in the second half. Meanwhile, Penn Trafford has scored 11 points. Carter motions to the right and settles as a wing. Mitchell throws. Carter open. The pass incomplete. No, it's intercepted. I thought Carter had knocked it away, but instead coming down with it is Trent Brown. That ball hung up there. It looked like Carter had room initially, but when the ball hung up, Trent Brown came back and picked it off.
Well, this Penn Trafford defense has stepped up in a major way in coverage. That time, that's a ball Mason Mitchell gonna want back when he looks at the film. Just tried to make something out of nothing, forced that one in there. He played such a clean game tonight.
After the interception thrown by Desmond, Yakimelli is now in there at quarterback, and he is met after a 1-yard gain by a trio of white jerseys.
This feels reminiscent of the Kiski area game where your defense is just continuing to make plays and keep you in. Can your offense do just enough? It's really hard to overstate just how impressive this Gators defense has been after a really rough showing at the end of that Armstrong game. To be able to regroup and come out against a really physical Penn Trafford team and play this well, really impressive.
Yakimelli takes the snap, hands off. Grabowski bouncing right, finds a hole, cuts it forward, and is brought down after picking up the first down inside of the 35 to the 32-yard line.
Tough thing playing teams like this is as soon as you feel like you've got them bottled up and you've done enough, if you lax ever so slightly, they just come at you again.
This time nowhere to go for Grabowski as he was hit by a trio of Gateway Gators and then driven back and put to the turf by Michael Burrows, the 5'9", 211-pound sophomore.
Burrows already having such a great year for an underclassman, and it's only going to be called on more with that looming absence of Jackson Smith. Right there on that play, up to the task against the uber-talented junior, Ben Grabowski.
Yakimelli carrying it this time, spun down at the 25-yard line. You talked about the absence of Jackson Smith. Tywan Napper is his substitute and makes the stop there.
Well, and the war of attrition that is football, it just goes to show that your depth is going to show itself at one point or another, and the Gators have had guys that have made some timely plays and have put them in a position here late in this one, try and steal a win on the road, but they still got a lot of work to do.
Yakimelli's going to run left. Found a crease, still on his feet, inside of the 20. And will be 1st and 10 for the Warriors inside of the Gators red zone at the 18.
Penn Trafford, just such a hard team to try and stop 4 plays in a row with the size they have up front, the talented, experienced backs that they have. That's got to be so defeating for the Gators to get wins on 1st and 2nd down and then to...
Yakimelli hands off. Grabowski running right, finds a crease and into the end zone. He'll go for his second half touchdown. And Penn Trafford has claimed the lead for the first time today, 24-23.
Tough break there for the Gators as Grabowski just continues to churn and churn and churn. That time, the Gators defense, the levee just broke. And now, we're just going to try and make this a 3-point game here with a 2-point.
Desmond in at quarterback, rolls right, tucks, dives to the goal line. The ball came loose, but Desmond crossed the goal line and then covered it up after the fact. So Penn Trafford has scored 19 unanswered points here in the second half and has claimed a 3-point lead, 26-23 on the Gators.
tough there around the goal line. You don't want to initiate head-to-head contact. Ball did come loose at the end, but covered up quickly, and now it's gut check time for the Gators. As much as they took advantage of turnovers and miscues in the first half, and Trafford has shored those things up and been able to produce points, and this game's still very much in the balance. The Gators just got to be able to score points. Your defense has done the work tonight. The offense has gone cold. And
talk about the mojo of football, Vince. Gateway has not scored since the Gators cheerleaders rang the bell,
which certainly caused a bit of stir. We talked about that being a little premature, especially when the bell's not technically yours after Penn Trafford won last year, and I'm sure that added just a little fuel to the fire.
T. Cole scoops up the loose ball after it deflected off of his shins. He runs to the 15 and gets brought down there. Face mask was grabbed, and there will be yardage tacked on to this return for Terrence Cole. Before the game, the bell rang. It was rang by alumni from Gateway, Penn Trafford, as well as Trafford and Pitcairn, and Gateway Superintendent Guy Rossi. And I personally don't believe the bell should be rung again until it is claimed by one of the two teams after the game.
I guess what you've seen tonight now, after the Gators cheer squad went and rang it, all the points have been scored subsequently by Penn Trafford, and you've seen their cheer squad gleefully ringing the bell, which at that point, the gloves are off. I don't blame them. No.
But they only rang it one time. I only heard one ding. Dancier dances, slides down as he heads out towards the 35-yard line.
Dancier still feeling that big pop from Ben Grabowski and Jacob Briggs, and said, I'm just going to take my yardage and get down on this one.
Dancier for 3.
Gain of 3 from the 30 to the 33, so it's 2nd down and 7. Option left pitch to Dancier from Mitchell, and Dancier is out of bounds. Near the first down marker, we'll see where the official on the near sideline spots the ball. It'll be at the 39, making it a 3rd and very manageable 1.
That late pitch has been there. Sort of a forward pitch almost at that point.
Uh-oh, snap goes awry. Mitchell scoops it up, but his knee was down. And I don't think that the center and Mitchell were on the same ball, or on the same page there. And I'm not 100% sure that Mitchell wasn't up when he actually took possession of the football. Regardless, that is another big Gators blunder here in the second half. All the mistakes made by the Warriors in the first half, here in the second, for the most part, it's been the Gators making the gaffes, with the exception of the interception thrown by Desmond. High snap again, gathered in by Mikulandrich. His punt takes a Gator bounce and will roll its way down to the 30-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Warriors. And they look to build on a 3-point advantage as they scored 19 unanswered here in the second half.
Well, this is a really dangerous spot to be in if you're the Gators, because now Penn Trafford gets to do exactly what it wants to do, which is run this ball right at you, try to kill as much of this clock as possible, and wait for that one moment where the defense tires or lets up just a little. And that's when you see a guy like Grabowski, who scored a couple touchdowns that way tonight, just waited for his moment, wearing this defense down. Can the Gators find that little bit of juice to get back up, get one more stop here?
Iacomelli runs left, bounces off of some tacklers, and then runs into a wave of Gators. He is brought down.
Gators have won more often than not on first and second down. It's just can you keep it going for 3 or 4 straight plays? It's a tall task, and that's why this Penn Trafford team's 5-1. Because when teams do this really well, it's hard to beat.
Desmond's going to hand off. Grabowski has his face mask yanked. And he'll be brought down after a gain of a couple, but more is going to be tacked on here. And it's the 15-yard version, and that'll push Penn Trafford near midfield. Vince, each and every week we are confident that Gators fans who can't make it to the games are tuned in here on Gateway Gator Productions. And it's certainly not a rarity when fans of the other team tune in as well. I want to thank my good friend Jim Little and his son Jimmy for tuning in tonight. Jimmy, a Penn Trafford alum and a Trafford police officer. They're enjoying our broadcast this evening, though they root for the team in green. Run to the right this time for Grabowski. Bounces off of tacklers. Picks up the first down as he is rumbling.
And this is really, like we said, that real critical juncture of the game where Penn Trafford can feel it. They can feel that a few more first downs really puts this one in a real bind for the Gators, even more so than they're already in. Is this clock just going to continue to roll? This is the bread and butter for this Penn Trafford team. But some ups to Desmond as well, a couple key throws. Although Gateway secondary able to take a few of his passes away and force the turnover for the Gators. This feels like a real opportunity slipping through their grasp unless they can find a way to make that one big extra play. They've already done so much defensively, generating turnovers. So they have one more in them. This clock gonna roll and roll and roll. Still 25 seconds on the play clock.
There may have been some home cooking by the chain gang there. Certainly helped get some time off of the clock for the home Warriors. 1st and 10, handoff, Grabowski. The Gators are in the backfield. S.J. Moorfield makes the stop. And don't forget, S.J. Moorfield in half number 1 had that big strip sack that led to the scoop by Houston. That led to the final touchdown of the first half for Gateway on a beautiful pass to S.J. Moorfield, number 3.
Yeah, strip sack and then another big tackle for loss on a big 3rd down in the first half. Moorfield has had his best game of the season, his most noticeable game of the season defensively. And it is that time of the game now where Don Hall's got to use these timeouts. He's done a good job. John Ruane had to burn one in the first few minutes of the second half. The Gators.
Coach Ruane was hot when he had to burn that one early in the 3rd quarter. Don Hall, conversely.
You know, these games are going to come down to moments like this. You need every advantage you can have. Don Hall and the Gators have done a good job keeping those timeouts in the back pocket for this specific situation. The defense won on 1st down. Penn Trafford's behind the sticks now. Just got to try and hang in there for at least a couple more plays, if not 3. Give yourself a chance to get the ball back offensively.
Second down and 13 from the 44. Iacomelli to QB. Runs left. Has room. Beautiful open field tackle as Iacomelli tries to leap over Diggs. Diggs makes sure he trips him up. And the Gators use their second timeout. And that brings up 3rd down and 8. And the Gators need a stop here if they want to have an opportunity to try to reclaim the advantage.
This really feels, for all intents and purposes, like your ball game here. What worries me, though, is this ball's now just inside the 39, about the 39-yard line inside the 40. This might be 4-down territory, especially if you're Penn Trafford and you pick up 5-6 yards on this play. I probably trust my offensive line to get just a few more to put this game in the bag. So we still got a long way to go before this one's decided, but a couple big plays coming up here. And then both of these teams, like we talked about, right in the middle of things in the Big East. Looking up at Armstrong and Woodland Hills, the odds-on favorite. The top 3 teams will qualify, and we saw last year that margin of error is so razor thin. The Gators, one of the last few teams left out of the playoff dance this past season. So anything you can do to try and finish in that top 3, guarantee your spot, and not have to leave it up to chance for a wild card, you're going to try and do. And this is, for both of these teams, a big step toward that here tonight.
And a huge play coming up here. Yakimelli sends Grabowski to the right. Yakimelli breaks free. He's got the first down. He may have a touchdown. Still on his feet, inside of the 10, reaches forward to the 5. And for all intents and purposes, that may do it. The math doesn't quite add up, but in high school football, the Warriors have a big opportunity here to salt this one away, and if they score, that'll do it.
More and more, this feels like, for the road team trying to pull an upset, you played the perfect first half. You just couldn't move the ball offensively to the degree that you needed to in the second half to finish the job.
Running right, Grabowski hit. Ball came loose. It's rolling in the end zone. Do the Warriors get it? They do. It's a Penn Trafford touchdown. The ball was punched loose and then covered up by an offensive lineman, so it'll be a touchdown for Travis Moorhead.
Heads up play. The Gators almost got that extra turnover they needed. So we'll take another look at it, see if that ball did in fact come out before Grabowski got into the end zone. It sure looked like it. Michael Burrows, yep. That ball was loose. It lands right on the goal line. And everyone just sort of froze for a moment. And it's the Warriors who come up with it.
And Roberson Louise June was inches away from taking it away. Instead, it's recovered in the end zone by Travis Moorhead. And Penn Trafford has scored 26 unanswered points in the second half. After Gateway led 23-7 at halftime, it's been all Penn Trafford in the second half. And for the second week in a row, the Gators squander a double-digit second half lead.
This one, after last week's contest, is going to sting just that much extra because you had so many opportunities, including this one right here at the end. And you see Roberson Louise June looking like a Secret Service agent, just diving out across, trying to get to that ball, but to no avail. And this is one the Gators are going to feel like they let slip through their grasp when they go back and look at film tomorrow. Credit to Penn Trafford, though. Way to stick with it, down 16 at the halftime break. Finding a way to work through a myriad of turnovers offensively. There's certainly a lot of things they're going to look to try and clean up here looking at film tomorrow. But it's certainly a lot easier to do that. You feel a lot better about it when you come out on top.
A rolling kick to T. Cole with about 2 minutes to go. Cole finds a crease. Still on his feet. Across the 30 to the 35. Out towards the 40 before finally being brought down.
Oh, great return, and the Gators do have the horses to score quickly here. Get a guy like Casey Carter or S.J. Moorfield behind the defense. You just need one pitch and catch to feel like you may have a shot, but then it's going to come down to an onside kick. But last week the Gators had an opportunity, less than a minute left, got the ball back with a chance to go down the field and score. We're not able to do so. See if they can take a step forward, and that's not a guy you want to see hurt right there. Luca Butler, he has played lights out tonight, and hopefully just feeling the effects of a really physical, long rivalry game. Hopefully nothing too serious. Terrence Cole coming up a little limp too.
And Luca Butler, quite literally from the first play of the game till now, has been a shining star on the defensive side for the Warriors.
And they make no bones about it. That linebacking core, this team's probably going to go as far as they go. They make a ton of plays. And that's one thing we haven't talked about a ton in this second half, is there was some running room in that first half for Julian Dancier, Mason Mitchell and company. That all evaporated quickly, made this Gators attack very one-dimensional. So credit to that linebacking core making adjustments at halftime.
Mitchell tosses, Dancier cuts it back inside. Still on his feet, pulled down from behind as he crosses the 40 out to the 42.
Gators going to have to push this ball downfield at this point in the game. Unless the stars perfectly align. Tough to get the ball out there in the flats and expect it to be a big gain, and time certainly working against you here.
Colton Tyberski on the tackle on the previous play. Is that one complete to S.J. Moorfield to the far boundary? He gets shouldered out of bounds by Nico Cachado. So number 3 makes the tackle on number 3, and it's 1st and 10 for the Gators, and S.J. gets out of bounds, which stops the clock.
Keeps that one timeout in the Gators' back pocket. You get another look at the nice route run by Moorfield, able to just break that off. And Penn Trafford playing sort of prevent style defense. They're totally fine to let those completions underneath with a 2-score lead and 1:20 left. It's the game-breaking play behind the defense that we've seen the Gators be able to hit on throughout the season. Not as consistently as Don Hall, Mason Mitchell and company would like, but still a young offense trying to find its identity here. And another one of those moments under the bright lights in a rivalry game where, for better or for worse, there's going to be a lot of learning lessons tonight.
Earlier tonight, I was trying to touch on the play clock and said shot clock. And I did that because my mind was a bit on basketball. Colton Tyberski, the defensive back for Penn Trafford, is the son of John Tyberski, college basketball official. So if you're a fan of college basketball, you probably know Tybo, at least by face. And that's what I did when he walked into the press box. Mitchell, all kinds of time, looking right, throwing right. The pass is incomplete as he was looking for Tyree Gowder in one-on-one coverage with Tyler Boss.
Mitchell back to pass, looking for the home run ball.
Got to take these shots late. This is sort of your last gasp, and that time you had one-on-one coverage on the outside. Gowder tried to come back to that one. Just couldn't get the separation needed, and that ball just slightly underthrown.
Mitchell looking for Gowder, falls incomplete. Tyler Boss on the defensive coverage for
1:14 to play. Gators down 10. So a lot needs to go right for the Gators to reclaim the advantage. Dancier forced out of bounds inside of the 30. So it's a Gators first down, and the clock is stopped with 66 seconds to play.
They're moving the ball, but you got to be thinking about both scores. And you need every second for a potential second score, assuming that you might get the onside kickback. And so they really want to try and score here in the next 20, 30 seconds of game time to at least give yourself one more chance. But the Gators, good play designs here, good execution. They're getting out of bounds, saving that last timeout.
Play action again. Mitchell all day throws to the end zone, and it's broken up. Nice defensive play there by the Warriors as the pass was on the spot for Gowder. But it's broken up back there.
Interestingly enough, you send Moorfield to the flat there and Gowder deep. I think your best bet's trying to get number 3 deep. Has the best hands on the team, made that incredible over-the-shoulder catch diving in the back of the end zone. I'd like to see them send him on this one.
One tick under a minute to go as Mitchell takes the shotgun snap, throws to the left-hand side. It's caught by S.J. Moorfield, and he's shouldered down to the turf. And Don Hall's going to use his final timeout.
Yeah, Moorfield, that ball hung up a little bit. which allowed the defensive back, Casciato, to come back and make the play.
Timeout, Gators.
You got to remember, Nico Casciato, he had that kick return for a touchdown, 90 yards, the first score of the game for the Warriors, which cut a Gateway lead from 13-0 to 13-7. And the Gators ended up taking a 23-7 lead into the locker room. But since the teams came out of the locker room, it's been all Penn Trafford. The Warriors scoring 26 unanswered points.
It's a tale of two halves. We talked about this was going to be a 48-minute contest, and credit to Penn Trafford. They put that really, really poor first half behind them, in which they committed 3 turnovers that led to Gateway points and cleaned a lot of things up. Still turned it over once in that second half, but able to make the plays they needed.
Mitchell throws. Pulled in by S.J. Moorfield. Hit hard as he catches that football. Brought down at the 10-yard line.
Gators wisely getting up on this one. Just going to try and clock it here, and it looked like defense almost encroached there. They were already sort of leaning on into the play when that one got snapped, but that's a really nice grab by Moorfield in traffic. And the Gators, if they can find a way to score here in the next play or two, it certainly gives you a last gasp. A lot of things have to go right in these last 40 seconds, but you know, from last week, the Gators struggling to do anything with the ball at the death. This week, able to move it effectively. That's a big step in the right direction.
Mitchell throws complete. S.J. Moorfield, he does not get out of bounds.
Gators got to go now.
Game clock down under 30 seconds at 25 now. Get a play in there. Down to 20 seconds to go. Approaching 15 on the game clock. Mitchell, option left. Hit hard. Brought down 1 yard shy of the goal line. And that's a big tackle there, because that'll ice the game whether the Gators are able to get a snap off and score or not. 2-1, and that'll do it. And the victory bell stays in Harrison City. Well, the Gateway cheerleaders prematurely rang the bell near the end of the second quarter. Now it'll be the Penn Trafford cheerleaders with a chance to ring the bell before the Warriors get to do it. What a second half for Penn Trafford after a spectacular first half for the Gators.
Yeah, they deserve all the credit in the world. That's a huge season-defining win that, as both of these teams shift their attention the last few weeks of the season, jostling for playoff position, Penn Trafford has set itself up very nicely. Only loss on the season to a very talented Woodland Hills team, and they may very well end up as that second-place team in the conference. But in terms of seeding, they have a really nice non-conference win over a Moon team that, at last check, was leading Peters Township and is still in competitive position in the Allegheny Six. So all to say is this is a really good Penn Trafford team that they spotted the Gators every opportunity to take advantage of this game, and in the first half, the Gators did everything they needed to do to put themselves in position to win. They just couldn't execute offensively in the second half.
And that's a different story than what we saw from the Gators a week ago, where Gateway overcame an 11-point deficit at halftime, took an 11-point lead, and then it was the defense that couldn't get things done in the latter stages of that football game. Tonight, the Gators just didn't get enough out of their offense in the second half to keep the Gators to keep the Warriors at bay.
That's a talented Penn Trafford defense. We talk about this linebacking core and how special they are for this team. There was a real change in body language. Penn Trafford's been there before. This is a team that returns from the postseason last year, a team that has been in the postseason way more often than not over the course of many, many years under John Ruane. And we knew they would be ready for the second half. They were, and the Gators, try as they may, they just weren't able to make those plays offensively. It's hard to really overstate it from there. And the defense wore down a little as that game went on. I mean, trying to tackle guys like Yakimelli and Grabowski that many times in the second half is a tall task for any team in the WPIAL.
And Vince, you talked about the lone loss on the season for Penn Trafford coming at Woodland Hills. Next week, Woodland Hills heads to Monroeville to take on the Gateway Gators. That's going to be a very tough task for Gateway.
No rest. They go right through the gauntlet now, this late season schedule. I mean, even Hempfield is looking like they've got a pretty good team in 6A at the end of the season. So there is not a whole lot of rest in this schedule for the Gators, and they're going to have to find a way to get up for another big game against the section leaders next week.
Well, that'll do it for our coverage this evening as the Gateway Gators fall to the Penn Trafford Warriors 33-23. I want to thank our entire crew for their diligent work all evening long. I want to thank Mr. Hetrick and the entire staff here at Penn Trafford for their assistance in getting us set up tonight. And I, of course, want to thank my broadcast partner, Vince Russo, who will be on the call next week with Josh Urish.
Looking forward to it. Should be a good one back home at the friendly confines, and excited to see. I don't know why teams keep kicking to Scoop Smith, but he's an electric player. It's going to be really fun to see him and that offense in person and to see how the Gators take another step forward. My last thought of the night is there's still so many moving parts, young pieces for this Gators team. The expectation is to win these games, and it's super frustrating to see them come out on the wrong side of it, but when you got a freshman quarterback who looks like he can really be something special, it sort of gives you a chance to take a step back and see the big picture here, that what they're building to might be something really nice.
The bell is ringing here in Harrison City as Penn Trafford defeats the Gateway Gators, as the Gators watch a 16-point lead turn into a 10-point loss here at Penn Trafford. And you've seen it all here on GatewayGatorProductions.com.